Won't work. Can't open it. You think you can remove the grill, but you can't. It's welded. See? Told you. And all the doors are locked, too. They're protecting the people on the outside from us when the people on the outside are as crazy as us. You know what crazy is? Crazy is majority rules. Yeah, Take germs, for example.
Germs?
Uh-huh. In the 18th century, no such thing. Nada, nothing. No one ever imagined such a thing. No sane person anyway.
In the 18th century, no such thing. Nada, nothing. No one ever imagined such a thing. No sane person anyway.
Along comes this doctor. Semmelweis. Semmelweis comes along. He's trying to convince people, well, other doctors mainly, that there are these teeny tiny invisible bad things called germs that get into your body and make you sick. He's trying to get doctors to wash their hands. What is this guy? Crazy? Teeny tiny invisible, what do you call them? Germs? Huh? What?
The people's wrist. They're watching every move we make. We're all included on their list. The lunatics have taken over the asylum. The lunatics have taken over the asylum. Go nuclear, the cowboy told us. To disagree, 'cause when the madman flicks a switch, the nuclear will go for me. The lunatics have taken over the asylum. The lunatics have taken over the asylum.
Now, cut to the 20th century. Last week, as a matter of fact, right before I got dragged into this hellhole. I go in, to order a burger in this fast food joint. The guy, he drops it on the floor. Jim, he picks it up, he wipes it off, he hands it to me like it was all okay. What about the germs, I say? He says, I don't believe in germs. Germs are just a plot they made up so they can sell you disinfectants and soaps. Now, he's crazy, right? See?
Germs is just a plot they made up so they can sell you disinfectants and soaps. Now, he's crazy, right? See?
Yan, nagagawa na ng alcohol. Dito. Wala, box na lang.
There's no right, there's no wrong, there's only popular opinion. You believe in germs, right?
I'm not crazy.
Of course not. You want to escape, right? That's very sane,
Because that's what Americans do now. They're always willing to trade away a little of their freedom in exchange for the feeling, the illusion of security. What we have now is a completely neurotic population obsessed with security and safety and crime and drugs and cleanliness and hygiene and germs. There's another thing. Germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from? In this country. Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily, so now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol. It's true. It's true. It's true. Well, they don't want you to get an infection. And you can see their point. Wouldn't want some guy to go to hell and be sick. It would take a lot of the sportsmanship out of the whole execution. Fear of germs, why these... Besides, what do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So listen. If you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not going to be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs, what are you going to do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid shit? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get sick, you're going to die, and you're going to deserve it because you're fucking weak and you got a fucking weak immune system. Now, all right, God damn it. Hey. All right. Let me tell you a true story about immunization, okay? When I was a little boy in New York City in the 1940s, we swam in the Hudson River, and it was filled with raw sewage, okay? We swam in raw sewage, you know, to cool off. And at that time, the big fear was polio. Thousands of kids died from polio every year. But you know something? In my neighborhood, no one ever got polio. No one, ever. You know why? Because we swam in raw sewage. It strengthened our immune systems. The polio never had a prayer. We were tempered in raw shit. And you know something? In spite of all that so-called risky behavior, I never get infections. I don't get them. I don't get colds. I don't get flu. I don't get headaches. I don't get upset stomachs. And you know why? Because I got a good, strong immune system, and it gets a lot of practice. Thing, but that would help out with what we were doing. And we eventually knocked these taxes lower and lower and lower. I only finished them last year. This is 2003. It was a 22-year, I won't call it a nightmare because I never took it personally. Yeah, I never said, these taxes, the government, they don't pay your taxes, folks. Don't whine, don't complain. It's still the best place to be, even with all the drawbacks. But there it was.
Composed this thing, and they called it a clean break, a new strategy for securing the realm. Okay, securing the realm. What realm? Well, the realm was Israel, Greater Israel, Israel that expanded and occupied territories during the 1967 war. It's
owed the money, I paid it. I didn't want, and I wasn't a scofflaw. They never got my house. They never came for it. They never did anything of that type. The lien came off eventually, but
it's very explicit. It talks about the need to make sure that Syria is pretty much blown apart. Iraq, the language is, well, Iraq is a prize in its own right.
So, and I'll go down to a comedy club, and I had that option. I had to work, and I had to, Jerry was ingenious, and I had enough cachet from these HBO shows and from my history like 10 years earlier that propelled me. We produced enough money to begin to knock this thing down, and then came 84, the show called Carlin on Campus, 86, 88, and now I'm beginning to find my voice.
Welcome and thank you all for joining us today. This show is devoted to learning something more, not just about the world of shoes and ships and sealing wax, as my pretty bride likes me to say, but about how, what, and why we believe as we do. A time for the open-minded, willing to challenge some of those old ideas behind what we think we know, who we are, and who we might just become. I'm Eldon Taylor, and this is Provocative Enlightenment. All right, our chat room is open, and my partner Ravinder awaits you there now. You can log on by going to provocativeenlightenment.com/chat. We do have a great chat room, a lot of ideas exchanged there, and more. So Ravinder, tell us all about it, please.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.